because I see all these artists and they're silent, so I can't do that.
You've had big collabs like Rick Ross.
Jimmy Levy.
The music industry, they saw that I started speaking out and they kind of pushed away from me. There's many times that, like, very bluntly, I'll say this, like, I wanted to just stay quiet to, like, let a song, like, do some numbers or do something, you know, and not, like, risk anything. And then I go home and I'm like, no, you know what, that's wrong. Like, in my heart, that's not who I am. I need to do this for the people, and, like, anytime I'm silent, I'm being complicit.
That's a look at my interview with chart-topping music artist Jimmy Levy. Why does this guy matter? Because he's talking about all of the topics that are outside the narrative that the establishment and the elites don't want you to hear about. He's put it all on the line to try to get some truth to people, both through his songs and on social media. And his latest song is what I'm interviewing him about. Instagram is basically threatening to completely deplatform him for this song. This guy keeps it real. Big fan of Jimmy Levy, and he's on the road, I'm on the road, so we caught up on a quick interview. I'm actually in Wisconsin visiting family right now. But before I get to that interview, I am thrilled to have one of my very first advertisers that's allowing me to be an independent journalist. So big shout out to my advertiser, Virtue Shield. Get this, a bicyclist in Florida got a strange email from Google. It said law enforcement was requesting his user data. He had 10 days to go to court if he wanted to fight it. The bicyclist later found out he was a suspect in a burglary. His Google location pinged him near the scene of the crime nearly a year later. Law enforcement wanted access to his phone. However, he was innocent. He was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, but his Android phone seemed to have betrayed him. This is why having a VPN like Virtue Shield is so important. Virtue Shield can hide your location from tech giants on top of already hiding your internet history from your ISP. Using a VPN prevents tech companies and law enforcement from false accusations like what they did to the bicyclist. I highly recommend Virtue Shield VPN. Get 50% off for life with a free 30-day trial only by downloading it today. Go to virtueshield.com/ivory or click the link in the description. And without further ado, I hope you enjoy my interview with recording artist and guy who keeps it real, Jimmy Levy. I'm catching up really quick with Jimmy Levy, who is a busy man. You're in the airport right now. I'm catching you between flights, but your music is incredible and we want to talk about it. Your song Matrix just charted #2 on the Billboard dance charts. We'll find a way out. We're back in the Matrix. Wake up. Congrats on that. And now you are coming out with another song called This Is a War. And you're getting some backlash from the Instagram app for that song, right? Tell me what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Like 2 minutes after I shared that it's coming out, because I know that YouTube put out a few things saying that they were going to censor certain types of activists and certain influencers that speak on, you know, the tyranny that's going on. So I put it up with a warning that that may happen and that everyone should share it. And the second I put it up, I got an Instagram notification saying your account may be removed in the future.
Oh my gosh. So I'm assuming they're taking it as a possible incitement of violence.
Right.
So what's the song about?
On religion, this is a war on the children. They give you the cure with the sickness. This is a on tradition. This is a war on religion. This is a war on the children. They give you the cure with the sickness. This is a war. This is a war.
The song is talking about the war on the children, the war on our religion, how they use it to divide us, and how they're not letting us practice freedom of anything, practice freedom of speech. Trying to take away our traditional values here in America. And then it just like, it speaks on everything and the spiritual and psychological warfare that divides us amongst each aspect in the values of America.
And as far as you're concerned, what we're seeing in the world is, it is a, right? It's basically it's their move. They made it over, right?
Right. Like it's a war on the physical plane, but even more so on the spiritual plane, because everything that's happening right now is written, and God wins in the end.
So I love that you are having all this music success without a record label. You got canceled from your label because of your activism, basically. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's not specifically like my label, because I worked with a few different labels in the past, but more so like the music industry, that all the people I was working with before, like they saw that I started speaking out on my platforms, and they kind of pushed away from me. They didn't want to be associated to any way that can get them canceled. They're filled with vanity. I feel like people that um, have made money their God, they think in that way. But those who are more spiritual or have God centered, they can think with love, and it doesn't matter what someone does, you could still be around them and work with them. But what was funny was the second Matrix got to number 2, most of them hit me up again, and they're like, "Oh, we should work." And I was like, "Okay."
Wow. Wow. Yeah. You are really passionate about what you stand for, what you talk about on social media, and and you actually go out to marches and protests and stand up for basically people's freedoms around the world. And
Yes.
that comes at great sacrifice, basically, because I mean, you've had big collabs like Rick Ross.
In paradise for you and me, my friend. Oh, red horns try to get me, and
Jimmy Levy,
let him in.
biggest.
And now not only have a lot of people kind of distance themselves, right, but you're at risk of losing all your social media for standing out and showing people what's going on in the world. What lit that fire in your soul to be such a voice for freedom, basically?
Well, I realized that, on a spiritual end of things, Satan was very big in my life, and he came and tried to take my voice away from me through drugs eventually, because the music industry will take you there, And I realized that I needed to bring God back into my life, because this music industry is so dark when you're deep in it, and it can take you, I always grew up watching how many of these, stars in Hollywood are going crazy and having these moments where they're just, on drugs, and now I understand why, because it's more than just on the physical plane. Again, this is really, really deep, dark evil and magic that is being casted on them in order to keep them in a specific box. So I got baptized in July.
Is there anybody around me? I'm asking for God to surround these people who can't see what's wrong. The end of times is now.
I've changed my whole entire purpose. Like every time I feel like being silent for any on any specific topic, I go home and then I feel so guilty. And like there's many times that, like, very bluntly, I'll say this, like I wanted to just stay quiet to like let a song like do some numbers or do something, and not like risk anything. And then I go home and I'm like, no, you know what, that's wrong. Like in my heart, that's not who I am. I need to do this for the people. And like anytime I'm silent, I'm being complicit, so because I see all these artists and they're silent, so I can't do that.
So what's your biggest concern for humanity right now?
My biggest concern for humanity is if a lot of these doctors that are holistic and, that have been actually canceled for speaking out are right about what they're saying. I feel like we need to spiritually, emotionally, and mentally prepare for what is to come. We're about to enter like deep tribulations, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna wake up not because they saw someone say to wake up or heard it or read something, but they're gonna actually witness the loss of life. And that's what's really, really sad, that it had to come to that point and they didn't listen to their friend that was speaking out or their family member that woke up. Instead, they trusted in a fake news source that was focused on a depopulation agenda. That's my biggest concern for humanity.
Wow. And final question, how do you stay positive during this time?
You keep God and you're at peace, you know? That's it.
Keep your focus on God. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know you got to catch that flight. All the best to you. And when does your song drop? This is a War.
This is a War comes out October 8th.
Awesome. We'll stay tuned for that. All the best to you. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. God bless you.
All right. You too. Bye.